Hey, so I just got back from a house hack. Potentially have to something that I just read from a company earnings call for smaller cap companies, especially since upwards of 40% of the companies in the Russell 2000 either don't make a profit or are zombie companies where they make even less money than the debt payments they have to make, meaning they're trending towards bankruptcy and barely staying above water. You're kind of exposed to a lot of risk in the Russell 2000. And again, that risk is fine. Risk is fine when everything's going up, but that becomes a little bit more damaging when you potentially walk into that R word, a market downturn. And so what you'll notice is right now the Russell 2000 is, again, 1.9% below summer peak and 8.6% below its post-election enthusiasm that Donald Trump would help usher in lower business regulations and therefore a better environment for small caps to do business and survive. Now, while that still may be true, Donald Trump does not have full control over the ultimate state of the economy. And that level of uncertainty could be enhancing some of the pain that we're seeing now. But it might not be that. Look, the VIX is up 21% today. Some people, it's bobbing between 21% and 17%, I see right here now. But some people say this is just a bear trap and that on Monday and Tuesday we're going to rally again. Others say this is low liquidity because people have dumped their money into money markets again. Others say it's the bond market and it's finally some pressure because of the bond market. Others are literally blaming Tesla for this sell-off. They're saying, Tesla got in front of its skis, and because Tesla got in front of its skis, I'm taking my kids skiing, by the way, here soon. I love spending time with my little boys. I got a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old as well. That's at RealMeetKevin on Instagram. I'll post some more stuff this weekend too. I think you'll. I'm like, all right, that's kind of a stretch just to blame Tesla, but whatever. Others are saying no, valuations are finally coming into play, and I'm like, I don't know if the market ever really fully understands valuations. It's sort of like if stocks are going up. Actually, back when it was $14, now it's like the totally opposite. It's had now its best performance or one of the best argument, which people were asking me about what's going on. I'm like, argument, which. This was really interesting. I want you to see this. And no, it's not a coupon for Restoration Hardware, as I usually do when I study earnings and at this company. Story over here, they're asked about it. So I'm like, all right, this is interesting. What's their response? I just want to read this to you. Usually I don't highlight all of this, but I want to read this to you because it's like so straight up pointing the finger at Trump. Listen to this. All right, so the first part of everything you said, I'd say correct about inventory going up, inefficiencies, planning around there, you're exiting China. Is there any safety stock in that you're contemplating for exiting Mexico? All right, so here it gets interesting. I think we said where we're going in China. It all depends on what's happening in Mexico. Okay, interesting. So let's understand what's happening in Mexico. Here we go. Ready for this? Look, Donald Trump wrote The Art of the Deal. And if you've read The Art of the Deal, it's a great book, by the way. I incorporate some of the lessons in The Art of the Deal in the Trumponomics course. It's by far one of my favorite courses that I've made. But anyway, if you've ever read The Art of the Deal, what will happen with Mexican tariffs? How to make it look like? It makes it look like November and December production numbers are skyrocketing. Oh my gosh, manufacturing's going up in November, December, right after Trump gets elected. Oh my gosh, all of a sudden, manufacturers are doing good again. This is great. But what if all of that is just to build up for the potential of tariffs in Q1 and Q2 2025, and then all of a sudden they're not actually selling all that crap? Restoration Hardware's inventory went up 30%. Their sales went up 8%. Their revenue, their gross profit went up 5.9%. They're selling less stuff. They literally bought 5 times the number, 5 times the inventory they need, right? Their revenues are increasing at 6%. Their inventory is increasing at 30%, whatever. Ballpark on the numbers here. That's a mismatch already. But on top of that, they're selling stuff for lower margins because they don't have any PP left. Everybody's PP has shrunken. Your ability to get max PP is not available right now. Everybody's having to fight on price because people are a little bit more cost conscious, if you will. So people's pricing is going to get better. Now, people have been saying, macro is getting better. They're going to try to. Some of this is hyperbole, but why? Because he likes Trump? No, for another reason. The negotiation, the power, the leverage. So they don't think Trump is going.
First half of the year as go to crap with the military moving into the border. So let's go shopping now. And we hope things get better. We're certainly doing our jobs well, improving that.
Showing that it can work that way. You dollars on half as many items, right? But does CPI measure like how much you spent? No, it looks at the per item cost. The per item cost doubled. So inflation just doubled, bro. They don't care that you went inflation. Look, I understand in 2018, the Fed's like, oh, we're going to look through the inflation, but that's because we were trending below target inflation. Not only were we trending below target inflation, but you had the Fed saying, we're going to use flexible average inflation targeting. That ended up being a scam. But that's because inflation was too low. They told us they were lying to our face. Jerome Powell literally said that. Yeah, we used flexible average inflation targeting because inflation was running below target. So we wanted, people to think we were trying to average it to 2%. But now that we're above inflation, we're not going to average down. We just want to get it down to 2%. And like, bro, this policy is a scam. You guys came up with this policy to imply that you would always average up, down, and low up, and then just have an average of 2%. And then you just kill it. It's like the Fed, they've really started pissing me off. Anyway. So yeah, look, I mean, and then you also do get Nick T saying like there are problems that could happen. Like you've got somebody at the Fed, like this one guy, Kugler, they keep coming up with new people over here, who supported the jumbo half-point cut in September amid labor market worries, lately suggesting that the central bank might be in less of a position to ease rates if labor force growth slows or stops. So in other words, this is actually a big red flag warning right here, right? Because if the Fed is in less of a position to lower rates because of tariff pressures, while labor force growth slows or stops, well, what do you end up with? Stagflation. Worst freaking case scenario. So yeah, why is the stock market maybe getting a little nervous? Well, maybe it's because when you look at things like what you see at Restoration Hardware, the hopium is now starting to get some, I like to call it, how should we say it? Realism, uncertainty around realism. I think that's an easy way to put it, right? So you have hope that everything's going to go perfectly, but then you have uncertainty that you add into that hope. So you discount the hope with the uncertainty of, yeah, well, we're not seeing the real changes yet. Restoration Hardware is the one saying that. So don't take it from me. I'm just sort of distilling what I see here. And look, I know, the real estate market has been a little slow, but mortgage demand, listen to this, mortgage loan demand and refinancing demand is up from year ago levels despite higher interest rates, the highest interest rates in 2 decades. We are at the highest levels of mortgage originations since 2022. We're seeing larger loan sizes and we're seeing buyers returning. Personally, buying the dip on mortgages right now seems really sexy because, since September, like a company like Rocket Mortgage has lost like 50% of its stock. I mean, I'm not your financial advisor. You don't have to listen to me. Just giving you ideas. So things to think about. Like, is now the mortgage bottom? I don't know. Maybe it's got another 50% to go. Who knows? Anyway, these